I'm joined by an 11-year NBA vet, 4 trips to the NBA Finals. He won an NBA championship with the Celtics in 2008. He's a commentator for Comcast Sportsnet New England. Brian Scalabrine is my guest. Brian, great to have you on the show. How are you?
Jim, how you doing?
Good. Brian, how about you?
I'm great, man. I really feel like I've made it now as a commentator now that I get to talk to you.
Yeah, and I feel like I made it as a talk show host since I got you on the show finally. Appreciate it. Good looking out. All right, so Brian, the Bulls are down 3-1. They look dead in the water, but you know them as well as anybody. How do you think they show up in Miami tonight? Do you give them any chance of winning that game?
You know what? It's going to be definitely a tough battle. Miami, you kind of woke in a sleeping giant after game one. They came out on cruise control, and the Bulls really brought it to them. But if you, like you said, the last couple of games, you can see them just slowly falling off. And talent always in the NBA playoffs makes the difference. Miami has so much more talent than the Bulls, especially right now when guys banged up. It'll be very difficult. I don't think they'll lay down because I know Tibbs and I know the guys there. But just giving their all, Miami giving their all. Miami's a better team. Brian
Scalabrine joining us. Brian, speaking of Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau and the Bulls seemed pretty irritated by what they thought or saw as LeBron flopping in Game 3. Where do you come out on that? I mean, is that just LeBron being smart and working the refs, or is it cheap?
Well, I'm kind of both ways. I think acting is also part of the game of basketball. You know, like the guys who know how to flop, the guys who know how to draw contact, get fouls, it's all part of the game. But also, I'm on the side of the Bulls and saying I thought we've established that no more flopping is supposed to give us fines now. LeBron throws a guy to the floor. He's the strongest guy ever to play in the NBA, and Nazr Muhammad pushes him 18 feet. I find like it's a little unfair that they overreacted to Nazr pushing him down and him flying back than when LeBron throws him on the ground. So, I mean, if everything is fair, then LeBron would have been suspended as well. I wouldn't have if I was going to kick Nazr out of the game, I would have kicked LeBron out too. But, you know, he is a superstar. LeBron is a superstar, and the way that he plays, it's just like you have to play him that way or else you're going to get beat, and you're going to get beat with and ones.
Brian Scalabrine, an 11-year NBA vet, went to the finals 4 times. He's a commentator for Comcast Sportsnet New England. Brian, where do you come out on Derrick Rose? In your opinion, how different would the series be if he did play?
Well, if he was 100% and he was ready to go, and let's say he had played the last month of the season, I think that the series would be, I think it would be a lot different. I'm not saying that the Bulls would have did more than one game because, you have to play these things out, and down the stretch, the Miami Heat are playing such good ball right now. But to answer your question about D. Rose, if he really, everyone has to understand the way that he plays is so violent, and you got to give the guy some time. He's not just going to come back as a role player. He's going to come back with major responsibilities. Like, here's the ball, Derek, go win us this game. And a guy coming off of ACL surgery that's not the easiest thing to do. So I support Derek in his decision to I know he's getting a lot of heat from the media, but I support Derek in his decision to sit this year out and get himself ready so next year he can even be better.
So what do you think he's thinking about right now? What's his thought process? Is it, I'm concerned that I'm not 100%. I'm concerned that I can't play the way I've always played. I'm concerned that I could get hurt again. I mean, take me through it. What's going through his mind right now?
So I'd only be speculating, but I think that he's saying, I can't play the way that I should be able to play. Now, can I help this team for 5 to 10 minutes? Yes, but that's not what they're going to ask me to do. They're going to ask me to win the game for them, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to do that. And at this point in time, he just doesn't feel like he has that much explosiveness, or his skill level is not where it needs to be to beat a defending champ and one of the best teams in the last probably 10 years in the Miami Heat. And so he feels like, I don't want to give these guys any confidence next year going forward that they think this is the player that I am. He wants to come back, be 100%. I don't think he's afraid of getting injured. I know the knee, he's worked really hard, and I've watched him work out. I don't think he's afraid of that. I just think he's afraid that, he's not going to be the Derrick Rose, playing 40 minutes a night, averaging 25 a game, and dominating in the fourth quarter that he used to be.
Brian Scalabrine, my guest. Brian, of the teams remaining, who do you think can give Miami the biggest challenge, and why?
It's going to be a difference. It's going to be the Spurs or it's going to be the Pacers, and I don't love Indiana. I thought that they were more solid than they are. And, the Atlanta series kind of got me off of them. And then the Spurs, but both of these teams have major size. I don't know what Miami would do against Tim Duncan, who's playing fantastic basketball right now, in the post, because Miami goes small. If LeBron can lock up Tim Duncan, then he is by far, hands down, maybe the greatest player to ever play, because that means that Coach Spoelstra can put him on Tony Parker as well as Tim Duncan, and if he can lock both those guys out without double teams, I would definitely give LeBron the edge over Michael Jordan now. But I think that he would struggle against Tim Duncan, so I would wonder what they would do and how they would match up, because when Miami goes small and you have LeBron out there, I don't, like Bosch at the 5, I just don't know if they have enough size. Now, obviously, they're good, and they've done it all year, but the size of the Spurs, I think it's going to bother them.
What a great point. I mean, what one guy can lock up
Never.
two Hall of Famers as different as Tony Parker and Tim Duncan? I mean, it's absurd.
That's when people talk about LeBron, they always talk about the offensive stuff. Like, I am amazed by his defensive range. I mean, this guy can guard Derrick Rose in the fourth quarter down the stretch, and I've also seen him lock up Al Jefferson on the block, who's one of the top 5 NBA scorers. I mean, no one talks like MJ, as great as he was, and I think MJ is the greatest player of all time. MJ didn't have that kind of range defensively, which if you're a coach and you're just like, oh, well, this guy's got it going right now, let's just put LeBron on him.
Hey, wait a minute, Brian, you don't wait, do you not remember Michael Jordan locking up of John Stockton and Karl Malone in the same game?
Never. He wanted. I mean, he's the greatest competitor of all time. He had wanted nothing to do with Karl Malone down low. It's just like it's not. It wasn't in his makeup. But man, I mean, LeBron would have had those responsibilities and do a pretty good job at it.
Hey, Brian, if Memphis comes out of the West, how do they match up with Miami?
The thing is, they don't have that offensive firepower that I think. Defensively, they're great. Like Zach Randolph is undersized and he knows how to work guys, but I wouldn't blink an eye at LeBron on Zach Randolph. So it doesn't move the needle for me as far as a team that gives Miami problems with this. Now, Memphis defensively, they're the best team in the NBA, and Tony Allen, he can guard, Tayshaun Prince, he can guard, Mike Conley, he can guard, and Defensive Player of the Year, Marc Gasol, he can guard. But the problem is, what are they going to do on the other end? If they can get a 6-point lead, for other people, it's like a 20-point lead with Memphis. But offensively, they're just not going to have enough firepower. If Miami goes on one of those crazy 18-2 runs, they will never be able to get over that hump.
Hey, Brian, one last thought. What about your former team, the Celtics? There's talk that maybe Paul Pierce might end his team or end his career someplace else. What are your thoughts on that? Could they get one more run out of that team, or is it time to blow it up?
So I think they could get one more run. I could be wrong, but Paul Pierce, if they had Rajon Rondo, he wouldn't have got exposed as much in the playoffs. They asked Paul Pierce to do so much. He was running 60 pick and rolls. That's just not his game. Give him about 10 to 15 pick and rolls. Rondo healthy, Solinger healthy. They have one good draft pick. If they can get a big in this draft, all they have to do is rebound and understand what Doc Rivers is trying to do. Kevin Garnett still defensively is one of the – if you give Marc Gasol the Defensive Player of the Year, Garnett can do the same thing verbally, just can't block the shots that he can do, that Marc can block. But I'm just saying – that this team has one more run in them. A lot of people think you have to break it up before it's too late because these guys don't have value. I don't know where they're at. They might pay Pierce the $5 million buyout and let him go. I believe they have one more in them. I think at the end of the day, they're going to do that. There's been a lot of talk that they're going to let him go. I think they'll try it one more time and see if this and I didn't even mention Jeff Green, who is coming into his own. This team has enough to. I don't know if they can beat Miami, but no one really can right now beat Miami. But they have enough to compete in the Eastern Conference.
Brian Scalabrine, a commentator for Comcast Sportsnet New England and an NBA champion from 2008. Brian, great job. Really good to have you on. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jim.
That was great. Enjoyed that. Brian Scalabrine.